Hi all, here is another instalment of our class book You Ain't Seen Nothing Yeti, and we are on to chapter 10. Manky Old Maloney's Curse. Mum was staring at a squat lump of snow right in the middle of the room next to the leper caravan and its gaggling of chilly chickens. The sound of angry muttering was coming from inside it. "Miss Maloney!" Mum cried. She darted over to the grumbling mound and, using the hem of her long skirt, started to dust the top part of it away. "Ugh!" came a high-pitched cry from inside the snow pile, as Maloney's grizzled face began to emerge. I couldn't help but gawk. With her face poking out of the snowy bump, the leprechaun looked like a nightmarish Russian doll. "What the blunkers is occurring?" Maudlin wheezed. "Snow? Oh, Miss Maloney," Mum cried, "we've had a lovely surprise visit from some old Yeti friends of ours. Isn't it wonderful?" "Wonderful?" the leprechaun barked. "It's disregis. Yetis are loathsome, smelly creatures." "Oi, I heard that," Unga snapped. "I've had you know I wash with shampoo my hair very regularly, every 10 years. I even had a quick deflee before we came," Orphis added with a hurt expression. "Ruined," Maudlin howled, wriggling this way and that, trying to free herself from the snow. Her dreadlocks were now solid spikes sticking out horizontally from the back of her head. "Me trollidade is ruined. Where's my sunshine? Where's me warm weekend? How am I going to toast me toasties now?" "I'm sure we can sort it out," Mum said nervously. "A dressing gown or a cup of tea, maybe. I'll call Nancy." "I ought to heck you lot," Maudlin barked, freeing a tattooed arm from the snow and pointing out her gnarled fingers in a way that "I'll wreck you, Trelawney, you frosty fools." "Now I'm sure there's no need for that," Dad said, raising his hand as if Maloney's bony fingers was a loaded pistol. "Nobody move," Maloney shouted, and nobody did. The unfortunate nomad's mask only had one eye hole, but I could see that a green eye blinked in alarm at the hopping mad leprechaun. I bet it was wishing it hadn't bothered coming to Nothing to See Here hotel at all. "We operate a strict no cursing policy at this hotel," warned Mum, but Maloney wasn't listening. "May all your tromonies present be socks," she screeched. "No, stop!" I yelled at her, but it was too late. The foul old fairy had started her curse. "May your minkle meat pies taste like dryad droplings." "How rude!" exclaimed the dryad with his frosty pine needle blush red. "May you find Yeti hair in every mouthful of your termite trifle." "Thousand delicious!" the Mulleth sisters laughed. "Please, Miss Maloney, look, we have these to make up for the lack of sunshine," Dad said, trying to distract the miserable trout with a wad of mud spa vouchers from behind the counter. "May your barnacles and blowfish ice creams always give you brain freeze." "Oh, I love brain freeze," Orphis snorted. "This one's bludgeoned in my bounce." "May your nose ooze soup and your soup turn to snot." Maudlin was in a roll now. She was so furious that the snows piled up around her was melting in a puddle of her feet. "May all your teeth fall out except one, and may your tooth have a cavity." "That doth sound so bad," lisped the Molar sisters. "I think that's quite enough," Dad ordered, trying to look tough and not like he was scared out of his wits. "May your bottom forever be prickled by thorns and your arm shrink so that you can't scratch it." "What?" Mum yelped. "May you always have unwelcome guests at your festive table." Maloney took an enormous deep breath. I could tell she was winding herself up for the worst curse yet. "May your roasted trog hog always be dry." Maudlin was practically spitting the words at us. "May your tongues turn to wood so you can't taste your feast, and may you always run out of extra thick and spicy mango chutney." "That's it!" Unag roared so ferociously that even Miss Maloney looked frightened for a second. The Yeti marched over to the ancient bad luck fairy and loomed over her. "You can't hex our Trogmany presents," Una continued. "You can't trisky our trifles and meddle with our minkle meat, but don't you ever mess with the roast trog hog and mango chutney." With that, Unga reached back into the folds of her shawl and pulled out a glass storm jar. "Now bog off, you scrapulous old scrunt." In an instant, Unga yanked off the lid. "Rah!" There was an almighty whoosh, and a blur of leprechaun shot backwards across the reception hall like a lethargic Catherine wheel. Maudlin Mahoney zoomed straight through the open door of her caravan, vanishing inside. "And stay in there!" Una shouted. For a second, everyone held their breaths, half expecting Maloney to explode back out at us. We were all heaved with a sigh of relief when we eventually heard her angrily muttering to herself from inside the sound of a kettle began on the burner. It looked like she'd learned her lesson. For now. That's that then, Unga said, dusting off her palms like she'd finished doing chores. Who's up for a snowball fight and a hot mug of trognog? So who knows what's going to happen with all of those curses we have just heard. We'll have to find out in our next instalment of our book. Bye, guys.